Man, I'm sitting here shopping for ancient tech, a camcorder, a big hoist for it with a professional mic, because your mic can't move around and your camera can't move around, so it's got to be on a floating device. So your camera ends up being like this big and stuff. Serious. That's a real camera. And the mic for it, and and it's like, dude, why was I pressured into buying a smart device when they came out 20 years ago if they're just going to nuke it? Okay, for a while there, it was getting better, and I was taking my devices and I was recording like 4K concerts that were barely clipping, super high quality. And then they want to get rid of things. They want to nerf it. We're 20 years into pocket computers. We're 80 years into computers, and it's turned into some sort of racket. I shouldn't be. I'm about to beat myself in the head with a bat or something because I shouldn't be looking to waste my money on a professional camcorder this size to be able to record things. Good. We're supposed to be in the Star Trek age where we just like, hey, beam me up, Scotty. Oh, beam me some 4K videos, Scotty. And we could do all that stuff. And we are beaming the 4K videos. And they're like nerfing the devices and putting control features on them that shouldn't be there. I was reading that Samsung, they're going to be included in part of this because everyone is. But I read that Sony has a crappy camera out the box on their smart device because it's the only smart device that isn't nerfed. And you have controls over the photos. So if you don't control the photo properly, they didn't spend time on the fake making you look good in any photo you take that doesn't actually work in 30% plus environments, aka any time at night. And any time in loud music if we're talking about audio, but we're not even there yet, are we? We're talking about the picture. So Sony is the only one that has true camera features. Sony makes the camera. Sony's been making good music. They're the only ones with good speakers. So I'm pretty sure, because I'm not going to trust these people in Samsung anymore. The LG's gone. They ain't got good speakers now because they're gone. You're going to have to buy an expensive, outdated device that probably works better than the devices they're selling you that they're nerfing after 2 years, as they've already been caught and sued. Apple has been for. But do you really think anyone even knows what's going on? I mean, Windows is a complete scam. It's been scammerific forever. And back in the days, only tech people were involved in tech, and every time Windows did something, people was pointing out, hey, they're making planned obsolescence here, and they're racking certain things, and in the new update that they're forcing you to go to, things like that, and then Apple was caught doing that. And so they take away your 3.5 jack that you would plug a mic into or a headset. Let's say I got the most expensive headphones in the world. Well, guess what? For 60 years, the world in studios don't use Bluetooth. You think I'm going to walk into a Hollywood studio? You think Howard Stern is using a Bluetooth? He might be using a Bluetooth headset, but I really doubt that. At last I checked out Howard Stern. He was wearing the same exact stuff. I went to the store and frickin' bought. He wore one pair I owned, and then he upgraded to a new pair, so I thought I'd buy that pair. And guess what? Neither of them were Bluetooth. It really wasn't big back then, but we're not going to use it. We're not going to be forced into moving from the best AKG Sony MDR 950 headphones we can find to some figuring out if anything new is good. Why would they remove features from phones? Why would Sony be the only one who offers a full spectrum true camera? Now, a true camera ain't that hard. I used to operate I think I had disposable cameras in like the 80s that had ISO adjustments. Good luck getting an ISO adjustment on your phone. You're going to have to try an alternate software like Open Camera, like I'm using right now. Open Camera right now records my stuff, and then this other camera plays around. At the same time, it's showing a white screen right now, and the other camera doesn't. Um, why is that? Why is that my devices don't work? How much money do I have to pay? Well, you can't pay how much money because I used to have all the top flagship phones. I had the Note 3, I had the Atrix when the Atrix came out, so forget your smartphones. As soon as the Android came out, I bought Android. I didn't want to buy Apple. And Note 3, 2, maybe 3, 4, 9, whatever. Had all that. And then things happened. Like Apple got sued because after 2 years they were nerfing devices, sell devices. And I was wondering, okay, my battery dies every 2 years. That's okay. I use my device a lot. It makes sense. But at the same time, at that 2 years, I get a final update, and along with other stuff, I questioned what's happening. Really didn't think that's all that was in the update, and Apple got sued for that because they were doing that, and it's easier to see Apple doing it because Apple's one corporation. And when you only have 10,000 people from each device who's smart enough to know they're being pilfered by the corporations, the Android devices can get away with that. Motorola, Samsung, Sony, if they would do it, but Sony's always been high quality. I don't know if they would actually, and they're still selling their device from 2 years ago for like up to $2,000. So it's still like, they're still selling you a piece of quality. Yeah. And look at that too. Why do these other companies here have a new piece of junk to sell you every year? And then they're caught nerfing it and destroying yours if it's 2 years old. Oh, you're poor. Well, you know what you need to do? You need to go rob a bank or something. Buy the new device. We're going to nerf this one. What's going on in their minds? This is corporatism. This is basic corporatism. When a company gets too big for its britches, it starts to fill its britches with money. That way its britches can be packed on tight. And I'll tell you what, man, I think, I keep going back, call me crazy, but I keep going back to thinking the answer is, if they want to play, we do whatever we want to do, then people should play by the same game. It's a game. It's a fun game, isn't it? They can do whatever they want to. They can scam you. You don't know nothing about technology. You don't know nothing about videography or photography. You might be the best carpenter in the world. You might be the best cook in the world. But, you don't have a whole life to figure this world out because it ends after 800,000 hours. So good luck with that. I think the answer is playing the game with them. Just walk in there and just start taking their stuff. I mean, it sounds like that's what they're doing. They're taking the 3.5 jack. They're forcing the switch to USB-C, which is kind of Britain, and it's kind of, I kind of see what they're doing is not as offensive because USB-C is better, but they force protocols and stuff, and it's like they haven't forced, they're not involved in this audio, in the videography and the photography. They're, politicians don't know nothing about that stuff. They're not freaking. If you've ever tried to get into photography, you might not know. But if you try to get in photography and stuck with it for a few years, you might have learned that now you know nothing, and you got to understand everything that's going on in it. And that's the way it is with computers. You can pick up a smart device and use it. That doesn't mean you understand what's going on. I can pick up a chainsaw. Like when I got my videos of chopping stuff with a machete. I mean, I know the blade's going to break from trying to chop down a tree, right? Good. But in a standard situation, the average person might think that you can do whatever you want with a certain object designed to do one certain thing. And it's like, no. And I think, yeah, I just keep thinking the answer is, they've been robbing people. Why not just rob them? Just walk into the freaking buildings, like the Black Lives Matter movement or the All Lives Matter movement or the Stop the Wars movement or the OWS movement. Just move on Microsoft and Samsung. I don't know. Move on them on and then figure out what's working, right? Isn't that the way it works? How do you even know one of them is doing something properly? Sony stuff is expensive, but they tend to sell really good items, so I can't necessarily say I've found anyone speaking of their flaws, but then again, the Sony probably has even less than each Android model does, because it's expensive and it's tailored to professionals, unless you're just a big Sony fan and you don't really understand you're getting something that's slightly different than other Androids. But man, it's just like they're all doing it. They're all removing removable storage. Or what are they working with other corporations? Now you can cloud save your videos. No, you can't. No, you can't. You've never used this device to record a video, have you? You can download in 4K. Now they got 8K. You can be recording a 4K video and fill up the inside of your device by the end of a concert. Especially if you got 8K. Whoa. I haven't even used that yet. But that's going to be a lot of storage space. You ain't using cloud storage unless you're paying like $300 an hour or so. I don't know how much it would be. I can tell you, you get nerfed. Your unlimited stuff, unless it's $120 a month for one device, you're nerfed at 35 gig. That's less than an hour of 4K, I believe. It might be 24, 28 gig. Some devices can put out a 4K hour-long video app, but as far as I remember, I was filling up that hard drive as fast as I could, the SD card storage unit, let's call it. You telling me that the people who design technology don't know anything about their technology? They literally paint out the golden circuitry, have someone make a mold, press gold down on it. This is after they've built the circuit board, gathered the silicone, paint, other needed materials to build the circuit board. They begin pressing gold into it. Okay, I'm not going to go into it. You think they don't understand how the device is used, what it's going to be used for, and you think they don't test it either? Oh, come on. They even show you they waterproof test it, because that's all that matters. It's a little bit waterproof. That's what they shouldn't even call it IPX7. They should call it a little waterproof, not so waterproof, not at all waterproof. That too is pretty. It has testing standards. That's one thing that has standards. Like the waterproof of the phone has more testing standards than the audio, the video, the camera. They tell you that crap. They tell you their camera's great. How come a person who's been involved with photography for over 30 years is here telling you that it's garbage? It's because I know what I'm talking about. I know about technology too. I know for real photographers, right? Like, let's say I've never actually worked with cameras or anything like that, but let's say I've only been around people who work in Hollywood. Okay? They don't carry around their smart device and use it to record. They do carry around their smart device and take photos or whatever with it, but they carry their real camera beside them. Why is that? Why is that you're being told that the camera is so great and all this, and they're actually nerfing. They're nerfing it. They're lying about so many things. Their decibel rating. We have a mic that cuts out background noise, aka mute sounds you might be trying to record. It's and so they don't hire one professional when they're printing the circuit boards and designing the software. You tell me they don't hire one professional to review the camera and say, I'm going back to my camera in my bag. This does not work for me. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's the same thing that goes on sometimes. Corporations, people selling stuff. You can go outside and someone might be selling crack. Someone might be selling crack, but it's actually baking soda too. So you got a choice there. But if you don't know the difference between some crack mixed with baking soda and some straight crack, you might be getting robbed and stuff out there. And the corporations are doing that a lot. I think the whole corporation industry, period, is doing that. I think the TV and media, Hollywood, they're lying about what's going on in the world. Everything. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff. I think, that little thing I just mentioned there trumps this. I think the whole technology thing is a scam that's been set up for hundreds of years. Who knows how long ago that scam was actually set up. But you can sell junk, and I really think, if the corporations play this game, we can do whatever we want, then the people should play the game too. We can do whatever we want. And you know what? I can't help keep thinking the we can do whatever we want game involves we can just walk into a corporation and say, hey, get out of here. It's my corporation now.